My fault. I'm having some internet difficulties. Hopefully this works out. So
you know what? Life is a funny thing. It's all good.
So yeah. So yeah, I mean, what up? I'm ready to get it. What we doing?
Yeah. So again, well, I kind of gave the intro. Say it again. Every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, the after party, emphasizing the elements of hip hop. 2 elements per show. Tonight we're gonna get into it. Again, my name's Sector 3. Say the hip hop culture. Got the homie Tamal carrying the culture. The after party, kind of an homage to the work that you put in right before our show, bro. You got back-to-back shit. So again, it's the after party today. We're talking MCing or rap and graffiti. So we both have a few good points. I don't know if you want to start it off. I want to start it off, but let's just get right into it.
Okay, look at you. I can't now even. I fucking lost my fucking shit. I was ready, but
all good.
First of all, salute
again, guys. This is all organic. Yes, we have bullet points and things that we want to share, but none of this is, pre-written and this, I'm going to ask you this and I'm going to ask you that. So we're human and this shit's going to happen, but we're here. We're going to talk hip hop. Again, if you have questions on the topic, please use the question bubble thingamajig that's right there, right by Tamal's logo on his jacket or shirt. And, I'll try to get to him.
Yeah. So, no, we can. I started. So the one was with the. We're doing rap first, right? Of course.
Yeah, we're doing rap. And again, someone brought it up early. Is it rap? Is it MCing? And to me, it's one and the same, right? It's
we can talk about that later too. I mean, we can add that to the list of topics. I mean, because originally there was no distinction. But all right. The first point I wanted to get into, man, was like how easy or how much easy it is for everyone to rhyme now. And that like everybody raps. And I just remember Planet Asia when we did the bill with him, he was saying like, yo, back in the day, you didn't like, not everybody rapped. He was like, that was like a special thing. Like you didn't just, like everybody didn't rap. If somebody rapped, that was like, oh, that's a big deal. Now, if somebody says that shit, it's like, oh, my cousin raps or like some shit like that. It's not, you know what I mean? So I think I'm just looking at that because it's really watered the game down. And it's like, even the people, and I'm not even just talking about mumble rap and trap, which we don't fuck with. I'm talking about like dudes just sounding tired over beats that they're just, the beats might be all right, but they're rhyming and it just sounds like ass, yo. It's not very, I mean, it's just boring shit. And it just seems like everybody and their mom is rapping. And I think, part of it to me, I definitely want your opinion on it. Part of it to me is all the technology out there has made it easy to do all this shit, so make beats and all that stuff. But I just want to get your take on that because it's really, to me, it's really, really oversaturated. And it's like everybody raps. So it's not a big deal to rap now, right? Or MC, you can call it whatever the fuck it's not a big deal. We talk about the MC and to mumble. So I'm not even talking about that, man. Somebody said mumble trap ain't hip hop. I'm talking about just motherfuckers from the streets saying I can do that rap shit. They get a producer or something like that, and they rhyme, and they're like, well, and it just sounds like it's just not really
here's
good.
The difference. Here's the difference. Okay, and this goes back to the origins as well. Just because you rap doesn't mean you can make a song or let alone an album. People can rap. And all due respect to like a Dougie Fresh or anything like that, but you can't sit here and say like, oh, Dougie Fresh has like some classic albums. But Dougie Fresh is an MC. He can rap. He's got the beatbox. But again, I know people that can, I can't say they rap their ass off, but they can enunciate words nice, rhyme, be on beat. But sit them down and say, all right, let's rock a track and have a theme track and the beats on. Nah. So there's a difference from, I can rap to let me make a living out of this shit. I know people that can rap. That doesn't mean I'm going to buy their music.
Well, these people can't even rap, though. I'm talking about people, I mean, they can't even rap, though. Like, Like
Yeah, yeah, no. Well,
there's so many
see,
layers to this shit. Like,
and that goes down to getting all this shit getting watered down, right? So we used to have, I mean, we still have a foundation, but we used to have a better foundation. Yo, fucking Cool G uh, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, Nas. Goddamn, these dudes are elevating the game. I mean, to me, I'm an MC, and I haven't done an album in my life, but I write shit, and I know I gotta top that, or that's what I'm going off of. To today, who are these cats going off of? Right? I mean, oh shit, you hear something on the radio, but I could do that. And
they're just thinking
again,
they can
I've
do
said
that.
it before. Was that?
Yeah, they're just thinking they can do that shit. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like,
Again, I've said it before. In a world of mediocre, or in a world of shitty music, shitty rappers, mediocre music is gonna sound great to the eyes, to the ear that hasn't heard it. I say it all the time.
Shit all the time. Word.
So,
Word. Yo, it's like, look, if you look at high school basketball, AAU basketball, college basketball, it's like everybody thinking they Steph Curry. Motherfuckers walking in the gym shooting, got no reason shooting no fucking 30-foot 3-pointers, and motherfuckers wasting them shits like it's a job, catapulting them shits. You know what I mean? Just because, like, Planet Asia said the best. He was like, he goes, we thought Big Daddy Kane lived in a castle. Like, he said, like, was like on some fucking clouds. You know what I'm saying? That was the status of the MC back in the day, not like
fucking Q-Tip when he said Nas reminded him of some kind of monk that would come down and just say his rhyme and then go back up to the mountains. Like, with all due respect to artists that I fuck with these days, we don't really have that. And if they are, it's, we have to be the ones to dig for this shit. So there is really nothing that these quote unquote rappers can go off of. They say, I hear that shit, I could do it, get up whatever beat. All of a sudden you got 12 tracks of just random shit. The approach, the delivery, everything is just, just like, yeah, whatever. Like, there's no more, and not that I want it to be this way, but we came from the era where motherfuckers were up in your face, hands, and okay, I'll say this. I remember the first, and I want to say it was Awesome Dre from Detroit, but I remember I would hear the music. This was before I was even looking at it. To me, it was so crazy and so mind-blowing. I had never seen this before when, one, the music, the sound, and all that, the lyrics, but the fact that, like, they were doing this, like, like, I don't know, before it was like, NWA, yeah. So, like, they would do this in your face, and that alone, being in your face with a hand gesture, I mean, that alone is it. These days, you got, if you're going to have a music video, dudes just, yeah, and then hardly ever doing this. Like, there's no movement. There's no want to get those lyrics delivered, which kind of somewhat brings me to my point, is the content of the music, of rap music or hip hop music.
Okay.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, I want conscious. And when I say conscious, let me start there. When I say conscious, a lot of people think like, well, why do you want to be, why do you want knowledge hitting you all the time? When I say conscious, I don't mean I want a wise intelligent or a brother Jay all the time. Conscious can be science of life. Conscious can be a song about the 9-to-5ers anthem, Aesop Rock, talking about going to work. That's conscious. That's something that I can say like, yeah, I work a 9-to-5. This
Ari the Rugged Man on Uncommon Valor.
Uncommon Valor. That's conscious music. It's or even I'll even stretch it out. I'll even go to like even storytelling.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, so it doesn't have to be like no fucking like black national shit or like Mexican nationalism or anything. No, it's just making you think about something real. You know what I mean? So yeah.
And I think going back to your point, right? People just say like, "Well, I know how to do that." Yeah, you know how to put words together. Great. Good rhymes with hood. All right. Now you made a little whatever candy cane rap, but can you rhyme within a rhyme? Can you make a whole song rhyme and then talk about something? Can you tell a story and keep the listener hooked on what you're talking about? To me, it doesn't matter whether it's a real story or not, right? Dance with the Devil, Mortal Technique, Shootouts, Nas. I mean, I'm sure Nas wasn't there shooting people. The song where, I can't remember the name, Undying Love, where he shoots his girl. Like, that didn't happen. But it's a story. I mean, this is kind of like a movie. Like, you're sitting there like, yo, fucking, you almost forget that you're listening to a song. You're just like, damn, this dude just did this. That's the problem. And that's where, going back to your point, that's why I want to kind of talk about the content as well.
Yeah.
People can rap. It's just, can you really make it worthwhile for the listener to stay tuned in? Right.
No, of course. No, perfect point there. So, I don't know. I'm not keeping track of, this is our first episode. I'm not keeping track of the.
I got you.
The time. So you want to
I got yours? You. We got like 4 minutes to keep talking about this. But okay, so I mean, I'll keep it going. So again, content. The content to me is very important. I love the braggadocio shit. Yeah, my rhymes are better than yours. To me, you know what turns me off? And I've said it before, obviously, but it happens mostly when people are battling. So if we're talking about rap and then the MC, it really turns me off when dudes start talking about, their genitalia and your wife or your girl has my thing, and you're like, come on, dude. Like, I'm not talking about let's get fucking Chino XL metaphors, but this is my skill against yours, not my anatomy, not my girl, not your girl. Nah, let's keep it hip hop. Don't get me wrong. I mean, some of my favorite artists did it, but again, man, being swift, being creative with writing your lyrics, going back to your shit, anybody can rap. I mean, if these days, these raps sound like Dr. Seuss. These Dr. Seuss, like just candy cane raps. Oh, but the beat is dope and it's a club banger. Yeah, but like what? Like what? So
yeah.
To me, I think when we're talking about music, right? MCing is one thing, and making music. To me, I think the fact that back in the day, and I hate to do that, it kind of fulfills the old head type of deal. But back in the day, you had no choice but to be in the studio with this producer,
right.
Premier, Nas, Large Pro, Q-Tip, like they all had to be there. And all right, do you like this beat? Do you like the sample? Everybody is included in, even with me. Like when I was trying to do this music shit, I would send samples to this dude and it'd be like, all right, and I tell him, I'm trying to flip this particular sound. And then you start building where I think this sound would be better. He'd be like, yeah, now try this. All of a sudden, what I thought was going to be the sample I used, no, he flipped it, did something else. Chemistry amongst the people you're working with versus I already made the beat. I'm going to send it to you. You hear it. You rap over it. And you release it. Problem with that is, again, 1, chemistry. 2, you might be rapping about something dope. That producer doesn't do the producing side of it, right? He's just a beat maker, but he doesn't do the producing side. Producing side tells you there's a certain part of this verse where I'm going to drop the drums. I'm going to drop the bass. I'm going to do an instrument, whatever, to give it that emphasis. But they don't. It's, hey, I already made this. You rap and fit your lyrics to whatever I did in this 3 minutes or whatever, and we'll put it out. Watered down. And that's what I think is missing, right? The chemistry between being in the studio, knowing what you're doing, building, and ultimately, because chemistry can say, like, all right, Tamal, you're a beat maker. I'm doing a song. Send me a beat. You say, nah, let's get in the studio. All right, cool. I go to the studio. We start chopping it up. I'm gonna grab one beat off of you, but off of you and I building, all of a sudden, like, dude, I like your shit. I grab 6, 7 joints off of you. Next thing you know, we have a collab album. That collab blows up. Now we got something great, as opposed to that one song that you did. So again, chemistry versus being in studio, as opposed to, overseas, or hey, I can't get to Texas from Cali, I'm gonna send this to you. Don't get me wrong, it's dope, makes things easier, but I feel like it watered it down significantly.
Yeah. So there was. I want to address a couple of parts there. I want to address somebody that said more technique as far as being conscious. Definitely, all day, all day. Almost too conscious for me sometimes. I can't.
A little
I
too
can't
much.
do like.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't do that all day long. You know, but he's a dope MC. So as far as I wanted to touch real quick, since we did have a couple minutes on the content part, man. Like I've noticed personally that it's been. You know, we're talking about like this, the braggadocio shit. Like, I like that shit. I'll still always fuck with that shit. But one thing I'm having a harder time with is like the street shit. Is that because I still like it, but I know none of these cats are out there doing that shit. And so it's like, and at 46, I'm like, man, I'm not out here doing this. I'm not running around. You know what I mean? I'm done with the streets and all that. So like, it's like, sometimes it's a little hard to listen to like whole albums of it. I can hear a track now and I can hear a track all the time, but like a whole album of just like bang bang shoot 'em up. So from a content perspective, that's a little hard for me. And a perfect example of that is like Onyx dropped a new album a few months ago, and
That 93 shit.
yeah, it sounds like old Onyx, and I can't listen to old Onyx now. That shit didn't age well for me content wise, man. Like just the whole album of just cats screaming at me, like so. Just to address that point on content, like it, I feel like as I've gotten older, my desire for different things has changed. You know, as far as what I want to listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
So,
It's you know, you want to hear grown man music. Let me ask you this. I'm gonna piggyback off that, because I've thought about the Onyx, right? Because Onyx, there's certain artists that you can kind of gradually grow into a different style, right? LL Cool J started off with the radio, and then all of a sudden, all right, I need love. All right, cool. He's more on the soft tip. But then he came back with Mama Said Knock You Out, and it's kind of more on the. So he kind of, you know, he's kind of a chameleon. He you know, you can kind of go this, that, and third.
yeah.
Embracing more of the ladies love Cool James, but Onyx, if Fredro and Sticky want to keep their artist side alive and make paper off of this, what the fuck else could they do?
Good point. I mean, it's a good point. I mean, Fredro did a song recently. It was dope. The beat was totally not an Onyx beat. Like, and it was called Whack MCs, and it was like a tribute to Fife, and it was a dope joint.
You told me about that.
But you know, like they got to do their Onyx thing. I guess, but you can dial it back though. Like you don't have to scream as much. I mean, I guess I like the Onyx show. I mean, the first album was a dope joint. It's just the screaming. I just that's hard for me over like 10 tracks. You know what I mean?
That's an error. I mean, both you and I know that's an error. I mean, especially when I listened to that album, the first two joints were dope. The first two albums. The first one to me is a little more nostalgic.
Yeah, of course. Man, that back the fuck up shit is crazy to me. I mean, you know, so
shifty.
So,
like, come on, dude. I know you say you don't like slam. I like slam, but I'm also not like. Here's it's kind of like the whole Tupac thing with me. When people Onyx, oh yeah, slam, yeah, slam, but all this other shit on the album, like listen to this other shit. Slam, okay, and it was on the radio, and all right, cool, but to me on that, I mean, back the fuck up. Shifty to me was fucking dope.
Shifty, next nigga is bitch ass niggas. There's a bunch of joints. I mean, the whole album was dope. I mean, I didn't skip through any joint or fast forward through any joints. It was fast forward back then. Fast forward.
Yeah. But,
I wanted to get into your point about we still doing about the as far as the chemistry.
Yeah. Shoot it.
So, the biggest example that comes to mind is L talked about when he did the XL album with Sadat recently, and how they were in the studio for, I think, all of it. Yeah, it makes a difference. And I've talked to you about this. I said, yo, like, it makes a difference just on the hooks. Like if it's the person's track, a lot of times they're the only one on the hook. Whoever, like, so the feature person is not even usually on the hook. Sometimes you can't shoot a video for it. Sometimes they shoot a video for it, but it's still the feature person on the hook. So then you don't even have that depth when the hook comes in of that everybody that crew mentality that you just got like one dude saying the hook. You know what I mean? There's that emphasis. You know that punch isn't there, so it affects a lot of things. And you know, I talked to Fort Disciple about it too. He was just saying, but you know, there's always positive negatives. Flip side is you can work with artists all around the world, right? You can work with artists you've never worked with before. You can work with artists or that you would never have a chance of working with before.
Yeah,
You can get legends on tracks and build relationships with them. That's what's happening with some of my friends, MCs. Or they've done some features with a couple of people. A couple of MCs have done features with them, and now they're about to do an album together. So, so you can really do some things with that, you know. So that's the positive, though. I mean, like, because if you think about some of the, I mean, there's so many features, and there's some cats that have linked up that I've linked up through Instagram, like, yo, y'all should link up. And then, like, about a year later or whatever, there's an album. They put out an album, and they're like doing a video. That's dope. So, and that would never happen in our Pony Express era that we came from. You know what I mean? Like,
never.
So,
I mean,
there's two parts to it. You know?
It could be talked about like, yo, I'm gonna work with so and so, but it's like, oh, I gotta fly out there, UK, or even New York to Cali, and it's like, yeah, well, it's on hold
because you had a label
studio.
You had a label paying for you to make that album. They had to pay for that, and somebody had to co-sign that. Like, so you couldn't just go out and you might have been under a contract. Like, so back in the day, you might have been under like a 2 or 3 contract deal. You can't do no shit with nobody else, yo. So it was even different back then. You couldn't even just back then. You couldn't just go and like do some shit. Like, you had to be maybe on the same label or something like that. They had to get a cosign. You know what I mean? So unless you were completely independent, which a lot of cats weren't, and the ones who were didn't blow up back then. You know what I'm saying? So there's negative, there's positives to it too. I mean, but like,
yeah.
But you're right.
And I'm glad you brought that up. Because I don't want to make it seem like it's a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, but I've kind of poo-pooed it a lot because, or just said like, to me, if you're in the same area, at least within like, you know, out here, I mean Cali's a little different, but out here in the Northeast, like, you can go Philly, Boston, Baltimore, DC, New York. You can just go to them spots. So to me, if you're in an area like that, you should be able to rock. You know what I mean? Like, and I would want to rock in person if I could. I'd be like, yo, let's make a weekend, getting these joints out and do our thing. You know what I'm saying? That's I would want that, because my short career MCing, we were in the studio, we were writing, my peoples was writing, beat was going, like, we vibing. It's different, yo. And you know what I'm saying? It's a different energy. When you're in there, when you're with a producer or a beat maker who knows what they're doing, and like, and you're vibing back and forth and creating and shit like that. That's a wonderful experience to have. You know what I'm saying? So there's nothing like it. So you know, that can't be understated how important that is. So yeah.
Look, quickly, I want to say this. Again, I've never released anything. I've gone in studios, I've done jams and shit like that. But there was a few occasions, one in particular. There was a few of us, like 7 of us there. And this is what I want to say. Okay, you get sent a track, and you hear it. Like, I think of you, right? When you're in the whip and you're like, yeah, you know, you're wilding out. Okay. You wild out because you like the sound. It's banging, it's bumping in the car. That's one way of getting hyped. There's a different vibe when you're in the studio trying to cook something up, and you got, okay, now that drum doesn't work, that doesn't work, and then all of a sudden there's that moment where everyone is just doing this. Everyone clicks that right sound, that right sample. And you're just like, boom, that's what it is. And you get that hype. As an MC, when you see that happen, that feeling you get, once that vibe is connected, what your mind and your pen does is going off of that vibe. As opposed to, all right, I hear the finished product, and don't get me wrong, it could still work. but being with a bunch of people and knowing that they've all put their energy into this particular vibe, that song makes it is going to be that much more energetic. It's going to have that much more activity and much more feel to it. Dada Rock, rest in peace, said, and I'm paraphrasing here, rappers these days are rapping on a flat line, not a heartbeat. And I feel that's what it is. Yeah, you can rap, but that, it's just like, there's the beat. Yes, you're doing this, but you can tell there really is no chemistry in that.
It's the same with the dance. And real quick, since we started at 10:05, and my fault because of that, can we go? I'm gonna go to 4 hour. Can you go 5 minutes after to all right.
Bro, let's do it.
Please. So we gotta I just want to make sure we're doing it. That way, we cover what we gotta cover.
Yeah.
Cut it short. Salute to everybody rocking in. We did have some questions or some comments. I don't really have anything on those, to be honest with you, or as far as the Egon or whatever somebody said. But the one thing I wanted to get into, I've been thinking about over the past a couple of years, and I think a lot of it's with this kind of goes hand in hand with this drumless stuff. Is the push? Is this movement of, and it's great. So it's like everything kind of comes back, right? So trap music, mumble shit comes out, and then there's like this resurgence. The underground's always going to be there. That's why it's underground, right? So there's always going to be resistance. Like, so I feel like there's been this big push for MC, a lot of rappers to be like, try to be so lyrical that it's just, it's over your heads. It's saying a lot of nothing. And you're trying to fit a lot of bars and a lot of words and a lot of shit into a small. It's just not working. And I'm seeing this a lot. And I feel like when dudes are spitting over this drumless shit, they're really trying to display their lyrical shit. So it's like, okay, need to beat out. I'm just gonna just flex on this. And but like I'm just seeing that, and because Prodigy, rest in peace, was one of the more simpler. And he told, and I know this for a fact too, because he told Big Twins tells the story. He told Twins, you don't have to be all like crazy with it. Like, just get your point across, you know what I'm saying, in a dope way, and it'll work. Like, Prodigy was like the king of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely, it's
not like there's a lot of people that are like, that aren't flipping words all crazy off the, like, but not making any sense. Because like Pharaoh does it and he makes sense. Like, and it's like, it blows your mind. Doom, some of these cats make sense. But like, so that's the thing I've been looking at the past couple of years. I'm seeing like a resurgence in lyricism, which is good because we're going the other way. But then I'm seeing like now it's like I see like, and this is for like, I'm talking about like on the underground level. You know what I'm saying? Like, and just people saying they're underground MC. I'm not talking about like trap cats, but like on the underground level, I'm seeing like this thing of like, and it's like, nah. So yeah, your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you on that. To me, and I've said it before, and it doesn't have to be underground. A perfect example, and I'm gonna talk about mainstream.
Hold on, let's look it up. We need a healthy balance.
I like that. I mean, yeah. I mean, balance. So again, I was gonna say something. Remind me. I'm Busta Rhymes. I'm just gonna bring it up real quick. But right. Yeah, too much of anything is bad. We definitely need a balance. Which is why earlier I was like, when I speak conscious music, I don't mean wise, intelligent, poor, righteous teachers all day, Public Enemy, Boom, Dead Prez. Nah, like, let's balance it out. I like the braggadocio shit. And we'll go back to that. But what I wanted to mention here with your point, to me, Busta Rhymes, and I'm talking chopper style, that tongue twisting chopper style. His first chopper style was "Give Me Some More," which to me was dope. I like it. It was real, dancey. It was starting to get to the point where like he was doing some experimental stuff, but it was dope to me. great.
I love that joint.
Yeah, Give Me Some More is incredible to me. The video was insane on some hype.
My daughter loves that shit. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
my god.
so
I mean, and doom. And it's like, it just, oh man. Either way, great. We knew Busta Rhymes can rap his ass off in terms of lyricism and that chopper style. But then we get to, he had a song with Mystical, which was still dope. I don't care for Mystical, but I was like, okay, he's saying pretty dope stuff. But then it gets to, what's that? Fuck, I can't remember the song. Where it's like, he's not really saying anything. My brain went dead right now. He says the same thing back and forth. My God, Rubik's, where are you at? I can't. It's the last song that he made, and it really, the lyrics aren't really saying anything. It's just he's rapping really fast. Same thing's almost sometimes with Eminem, where it's like, okay, you're rapping fast, but are you really saying something? Is it something that I can rock with? So, and I think you've posted it, and I've said it before. You tongue twisting, doing a chopper style. Yes, it sounds great. For the untrained ear, would be like, dude, how the fuck is this guy doing it? But for those of us that know AC Alone, Micah 9, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Twista, early Busta Rhymes, you know, that know that style, and you listen to this, it's like, you're not, okay, great. It sounds great, but what the fuck are you saying? You're just saying a bunch of words. So, I don't know. It's lyricism. I'm with you. A lot of new rappers are just lyrical, miracle, spiritual, not really saying shit. And again, I'm not trying to be here and say I need a story, but make some sense. Put some drums in that bitch. It might help you. Like
yeah, just say more than words, man. You know, like that's all. Just whatever. And someone's asking, are we talking underground? He's like, Buster's mainstream. We're just talking. We're talking about just lyrics in general.
I'm talking in general.
We're not talking. We're just talking in general lyrics and yeah, it's like just have a theme. I mean, here's the thing. I look at everything can have an outline. I look at, you know, so when I made a song, I put it together and I had a process. I mean, like just try to say something. I mean, damn, like just try to say something. I mean, that's all. Luke Skywalker, he was saying something. Whether you agree with it or not, he was saying something. Just say something. The Hot Boys, whether you fuck with them or not, they were saying something. They were doing all that New Orleans shit. All right, cool. Like, Mos Def, Talib Kweli, they're saying something. Just say something. Or just say you're the best. Whatever.
Is it the era we came up on? Because, again, back then, you couldn't just be like, I have a song, a track, a beat, a CD, a cassette, listen to my shit. Before, it's like you had to get on. You had to say something in order to get something out of it. These days, I
don't think so. I mean, there was always shit where back in the day, even where you were like kind of eyeballing and questioning why somebody got on. I mean, but even if it was just some super poppy shit, they were just saying something. You know what I mean? Like Keith Murray. Big up to Keith Murray. We tried to have him on. That shit backfired.
Keith Murray.
Yeah. Are we into the second segment? Because I don't want to cut that short. I mean, I just
yeah. So we got like a minute.
Huh?
We got like a minute.
Let's rock then. Let's get into the second segment.
So again, I appreciate y'all rocking with us. After party, a different style. Again, this is the first show. I'm gonna try a few things out, but again, we're talking rap, MCing, whatever it is. We're gonna transition here to the graffiti part. Keeping in mind that we might lose a few of you. I think graffiti, for the most part, is probably the lesser of the popular elements.
Of course.
But we have to acknowledge graffiti was personally the first element of hip hop, and the one that stands on its own, as you have said before.
Yeah, no, of course. And so it's important. And again, this is really important, you guys, for us, is that, you know, we're about, yeah, he was fucked up though. I mean, so as far as that, him getting
that's a whole
come on, like, let's be honest here.
Or something.
Let's be honest here. So he was fucked up. So, you know, our logo was about the elements. I came into this as a B-boy. So you know, we're very passionate about everything, and a lot of us, you know, we're all guilty of immediately thinking of rap and MC when we think of hip hop, and that's not all there is to it. So that's why we made it a point to kind of split this show in half and really focus on the, you know, all of the elements, because they're important to all of us, to both of us. So so as far as Graff, like, and I talked big up to Trickster. I don't know if he's still on the show. We had LA Graff legend. You know
I caught the first maybe 20, 30 minutes of it.
Yeah, and so we had him on, and here's the thing. I mean, you guys can relate to this, whether you're Graff heads or not. And both of these topics that I have anywhere you can relate to. I mean, you can, you know, kind of apply it to your own shit. Graffiti is the only element that's illegal, and it's become this thing, just like how everybody just be flexing on the internet these days, that to post yourself bombing like illegal spots. I'm talking about not legal shit, not commission walls, none of that shit. Like out bombing legal spots, illegal joints, and posting it on G, getting it edited and everything. I seen a dude, you know, he's getting a lot of love. He had a video with a hoodie. He got merch with a hoodie.
I saw it. I know what you're talking about.
And I'm like, really? This is what we do now? Like, so it's crazy to me. And it's crazy. First of all, it's crazy that they do it. And then it's crazy that they're not getting arrested. Like, so, okay. And I posted this. My video got remixed. I asked this question to Graff writers. I was like, open question to Graff writers. And then it got remixed. And somebody was like, they took a video. It took my video asking a question. And then they posted a video of them bombing something like in broad daylight or some shit, saying we do what the fuck we want. And I was like, that's funny, but it didn't really answer my question. So I'm curious, like, how is that happening? How are you not getting arrested? Well, yeah, how are you doing that shit and why? Because, like, when I wrote, like, we weren't doing that shit. We talked about it. And how are you not getting arrested? So Chaka, one of the, like, most infamous graffiti cats of all time as far as getting up goes, just hit the fucking a major freeway sign out in LA a few months ago. But he's been on TV and like been interviewed and like been arrested. Like they know his name, Daniel something or other. Like, how the fuck did he not? I just run up to his house and grab this nigga, and no one's really. I mean, I'm just a curious dude. Like, how is this not happening? And so why are they doing it? And how is it? How are cats not? You know what I mean? Like,
speaking on Chaka, I'll give you a personal, and then we'll get back to it. I saw him at actually, I don't even know where the fuck I saw him. It was an event. It might have been Radiotron. And I went up to him. I'm like, yo, Chaka. And he looks at me. He's like, nah. I'm like, nah, dude, you're fucking Chaka, right? And then to me, I'm like, oh, shit, that's right. So I'm like, all right. So I kind of dapped him. Cool. Went away. But then I turn around. I'm like, wait, but you're posting. Like, why are you saying no to me? And I'm thinking, okay, maybe. And this is not just Chaka. I bring it up because that's what we're talking about right now. But I'm wondering if I feel like they're a lot smarter than this, but I'm wondering if these people think like, yo, this is Instagram, this is the internet. If you're not there physically, you can't do anything to me. So I'm wondering if I went up to him and be like, yo, you're Chaka. He thinks like, oh yeah, you're kind of an informant, or you're, you know, nah, that's not me. As opposed to I'm posting it, here's my face, but you're not right there to knock me or whatever. I'm with you. I don't understand how someone like a Chaka or whoever it is not getting knocked for this shit. Trickster brought up a good point though, and I don't know if they're really doing this, but are they tallying all this shit up to later kind of?
I've heard two things, and I've heard it from Trickster also said this. Big up to him. Great build that we have. We're going to do it again. He brought up. He said that. Well, maybe, you know, they're tallying shit. That's what they did to me back in the day. So, and then he also said that, and a lot of people have said this to me about, so I don't know. He said everyone has said out here in LA, they're worried about more like other shit. They're not worried. So maybe like, do you think that's the case? The cops are like not paying attention to, I mean, because New York has a graffiti task force. Like, I mean, like a lot of, like, So there's not. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the cops out in LA.
See, I mean, it's Trickster. So I mean, he was out there bombing, and you know, I bombed a little bit, but nowhere near none of these like Saber and GK and them. Like, no, that nowhere near that. But I would say, like, okay, these days there's probably so many Graff writers that the graffiti enforcement or police, whatever, are like, nah, I'm coming after just bigger stuff. But I go back to the 90s, and the reason why I got out of the whole tagging shit was because it started getting crazy reckless. Trickster brought it up, the RTD bus. It got to the point where these dudes, the taggers, not only, I came from an era where it's like, you found the tagger in the tunnel, what do you write? Oh, okay, cool, boom, 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 out, done. It got to the point where, like, again, and I've said it before, the tagging crew I was in, is now a gang. I'm good with that. I'm not gonna rock a gat. I'm not, you know, like, I'm gonna rock a can, and that's as far as it's gonna go. If we had beef, we had a football game. Who could get up more? I remember RTS and I don't know if it was, I can't remember. I think it was EK. They had a beef out here in Orange County, and see who, you know, whatever. But again, back in the 90s, we had to where taggers would wait at a bus stop, and when the bus with the RTD pulled up, you had 20, 30 heads mob that bus, reckless. So with me saying, like, well, maybe there's too many graffiti writers now for cops to do this, the shit was the same before. It's just maybe a little more reckless back then, and now there's so many, and I don't know. It's
The other theory that me and my man came up with, man, big up my man Full UTI crew. He was saying, we like, yo, we think motherfuckers is snitching on cats, or like got is on the payroll or something. Yo, listen, I'm a simple dude, yo. How can you be one of the most well-known cats getting up all over the fucking spot, and you hit a public freeway sign, and you're in the system, you're not like, and how are you not in jail? You tell me how that didn't happen, yo. You fucking tell me, like that right there. Like, and posted that shit is on Chaka, on the motherfucking everyone was like, yo, I go home that way every day. Like, it was right. There wasn't no obscure shit. That shit was right wherever the fuck downtown.
To add to that, this isn't someone that has never been arrested. It's
right.
He got arrested.
Yo, he's on TV.
Like, how does that? I would love to have a conversation with him and just like,
yeah,
how does this happen? So OnStar said it makes the city look cool. Out in LA, this shit does not look cool. I mean, big mural, and we're talking two different things. We got to understand this. When we talk about graffiti, if we're talking bombing, that is not big blockbuster murals. Bombing is bombing, and you see fucking shit tag, you know, crossed out and not even throw ups. It's just the tag. That does not make the city look cool. And actually, and that's why LA it is what it is. To me, it doesn't look cool. I love the blockbusters, the throw ups, and nostalgically, obviously, I'm looking out. When you were down here tomorrow, I mean, we were fucking freeways, like looking at everything. Yeah, it's cool, but I can't say it makes the city look cool. The Arts District in LA, great. Permission walls, great, looks nice. But when we're talking about bombing, which kind of eases me into my personal topic, is street vandalism versus the art part of it.
He talked about that. I don't know if you're wrong. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think I missed it.
Good.
And I really wanted to get on there, but I got home and whatever. But you can add to it. Graffiti, from my understanding, was really a fuck you to the system. It's us against the system. It's not, oh, I am artistic, I'm gonna make this look nice. Nah, it was fuck the system, against the system, anarchy, total destruction. And I'm not talking about, you know, physically bombing shit, but like bombing in terms of spray cans. And these days it's like, oh, it's hip hop. You know, I know how to draw, so I'm gonna get on this iPad or whatever the fuck and make something nice. Street vandalism, the real graffiti, or graffiti in terms of internet graph, I guess you can say. I don't know if you've ever heard the Graffiti Kings album, but that's the first time on a wide scale that I know it was brought to the table, talking about leave that internet shit alone. We bomb because we're against the system.
Right. I mean, I think it's just a matter of perspective, and I think there's a lot of perspectives now. There's a lot more perspectives than there were before, right?
Of course.
You know what I mean? So,
Of course.
So Trickster talked about it. He said he's got a more open view on street art and stuff like that. He's like, yo, shit. Someone's mentioned evolution a couple of times. He's like, shit evolves. He goes, you know. So he goes, I used to hate on street art. He goes, I try not to do that anymore. Like he was like, you know. So you, me, Trickster, we all come from the same era of like what graffiti is about, and as far as like, and me personally, I was about getting up, yo. Like I mean, I'm an artist, but when I was rocking, I didn't really care about doing pieces. I was trying to get up everywhere.
Get up,
like
exactly.
that was me. I mean, that was me. I wanted to be everywhere you went. Like I wanted blah blah blah. Like I just wanted my shit. Like I didn't at the time. That's why I got in trouble quick, yo. I got busy, yo. Like busy. Like if 6 hours, some shrooms, whatever, some fucking acid. We was rocking. So for me, you know, but I just hate the fact that street art, and I said this to Trickster, I hate the fact that street art is considered okay and graffiti's not. That's bullshit to me. And or graffiti's considered okay when they want it to look street and urban. When they want to gentrify or when they want to fucking poach, it's okay. Let's get a graffiti wall and make it look street, make it look like the ghetto. You know, like the producer or whomever from a show or some movie is saying that. That's the shit that's like that bothers me as far as like the treatment of. I don't have a problem with street art. I like street art, man. I like dope shit, man. If it's dope, it's dope. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. Big up hippie, Christian, punk, monk, hippie.
We've talked about it, right? We've talked about it to where you know, you're a certain age, right? And again, it's the teen years, the rebellious years. Fuck that! I'm gonna go out and bomb. I'm mad at my parents. I'm mad at the school system. I'm mad. Fucking go out and bomb. Whatever the fuck. I hit up a school once, and I know that was a no-no, but I did it just because I fuck it. Blah blah blah. Fast forward to now, even though again, and I say it nostalgically, if my wife tells me, she's like, "You're too old for this shit," but I'm like, I'm just looking at the fucking wall. Like that's what I'm doing. But, and that's why I said it earlier. Permission walls are great. Yes, it makes it look nice. Now, these days, I would love a permission wall. I would love to hit a permission wall.
Right.
When I was in high school, I was given the opportunity, and I'm like, fuck that. And I've said this story way too many times. I'm not going to get into it. But I was like, fuck that. And one of the dudes said, I'll rock it. This dude is now making murals out in fucking, I don't know, London somewhere. Yeah. And I'm, you know, and I'm not bitter about it, but it's just like, you know, when you're young, you have a certain mind frame, mind state. Fuck the school, fuck the system, fuck the cops. Someone said it earlier. Tumor. The gangs don't like you, and the cops don't like you. Like, you know, and again, graph writers, old school graph writers, GK, JA, you know, even the original heads, you know, AWR, CBS, all them, like. These were bombers, dude. Like, but it gets to a point where you're in your age, 30s, 40s, where it's like, all right, I either have a family or I have to make money off of this shit. I have the skill. Let me work on this, you know, little digital stuff and make albums for people. Ep.1 did Abstract Roof, Freestyle Fellowship, and dude's making bank. Of course, at 40 and 50 years old, you're not gonna be out there bombing, but we have to acknowledge graffiti for what it originally is, and it's really street art, vandalism, you against the system. I understand, and I get it. I think it was Armstrong that said evolution. Of course, evolve within self, and you know. But I still, and I think he said evolution when we were talking about Chaka and the dudes that are, you know, filming them. So I will never understand that.
Right. All right. Work. Yeah, no, I totally feel you, man. I mean, it's it's a weird thing with that whole part of it that we were talking about. But yeah, like I mean, the whole shit you gotta evolve and stuff like that. And older cats still do get up. It's like, you grow up as a person, man, and sometimes your values change, and it doesn't matter what you're doing. You know what I
Of
mean?
course, it's life.
So
yeah.
Life. So, yeah. So
I got a little more. So if you don't have anything, I just want to add on to that a little bit. So again, what I was saying is, to this day, and I know people that are in their 40s and their 50s, maybe even 60s, that are still that mentality. Like, nah, I am not gonna. Yeah, I'll sell a little thing here and there, but it's still fuck the system. It's still I'm rocking, even if it's a scribe, if it's a streaker or whatever. They're still out there bombing, not giving a fuck. But people don't lose my respect, but I know of writers, bombers that don't give respect to dudes. So again, look at it like this: you have a dude that's been bombing, like let's say a trickster, a GK, anybody, known writers. The name is out there. They bombed, and you know them because you've seen them and you've seen them in books and all that. Great. They either have a 9-to-5 or struggling, but they're known in the quote unquote underground of the Graff world. Then you got someone that's never, ever put in work on the streets, but they're artists. They know how to, I can draw Mickey Mouse really nice. I can draw fucking Dr. Doom really nice. And I say this because I know someone that's doing this, a friend of mine. And okay, so that's pretty cool, the graffiti thing. Let me give it a shot. All of a sudden, this dude is mad nice with the graffiti stuff and is doing stuff for commercials, for album covers, but the dude has never grabbed a spray can in his life.
That's trash.
Huh?
So yeah, it's trash.
Like, again, and I understand for a lot of people this is Martian talk, because it's gonna sound like I'm hating, and I'm not, because I understand, right? Get your paper, I get it. But when you're a real graph head and you've done it before and you know what where it comes from, you're gonna look at it like, what the fuck? Wait, how are you getting paper and how are you doing it? And you've never grabbed a can in your life. Great, you can color it in. I used to know this dude. Ironically, he had the same name as me in high school, and he used to sit behind me in history class. I remember one time I looked back because I can kind of feel him breathing. And I was kind of like, what the fuck? I look back and he's like on his black book. And I'm like, damn, this dude is mad nice with it. I think I told this story. And I told him like, oh, dude, you write? He's like, oh, yeah, I write this. I'm like, all right, cool. We should go bombing one day. Yeah. And it was always, yeah, later. And I remember my friend Frank was like, he's like, yeah, I talked to so-and-so. And he's kind of giving me the runaround. Long story short, mad nice in the black book. Couldn't write for shit with the can. And it became one of those things where we would clown him. But ask me about him today. Dude is making money.
Right. Yeah. So there's you got it. I guess we can talk about there's the artists who there's cats. There's like different categories. There's cats that are just writers. I know cats that are just writers and aren't really like the best artists, but they're like they're dope writers. Then there's dudes that are like hip hop cats and in the art, but in all different, they're just dope with like the art. Also dope graffiti writers, but they're also about that life as far as the whole shit goes. Then you have artists who look at graffiti as another medium of art, like sculpting, acrylic, fucking watercolor, this or that. And he's looking at it as another medium, and that's how they treat it. That's the difference, Joe. Like some of those arts, and that's what my man was telling me. And I was telling Trixie this. There's artsy cats, like young artsy white kids in LA getting driven to the hood by their parents. I think I told you about this. And like doing a piece in the hood, taking a picture, and then like saying they were like on the block and shit. So
that's what that album, Graffiti Kings, that's what they were saying. Like, yeah, they're just
stop like,
with that shit. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's just different categories, and like you know, we're from like, and Trickster even said, he's like, yo, I'm like, he said, he goes, every once in a while I gotta do a train or else I don't feel right. Like, he's a writer, but like, he's got to, you know, he's elevated and like making some money off that shit. That's great. Like, I think it's dope that, but they all paid their dues. Totem did a jacket for Ghost from the show Power. Like, that's a, you know, he paid his dues. Like, you know what I'm saying? Big up TC5. Like all, like, if a lot of these cats, NM, he's got merch, paid his dues. Zero One, TC5, Fame City. Yo, they paid their dues. So that's like Trickster was saying. So like, it's not. So that's the difference. Like, the art shit's dope. Like, if you're that talented and you can like just rock all types of different art, yo, fucking do you. But like, at least know that with graffiti, and know with each of those things comes a culture and a heritage. Understand the whole philosophy behind each of those. Understand behind each of the fucking shits. Like the watercolor and the acrylics. Understand the foundation and the background, right? Like, do the knowledge on all of that shit. Like, not just a graph, like, understand, like, okay, yes, there's a culture with graffiti. I need to understand this before I'm gonna be a part of it. Like, just because you're a dope artist, you know, yeah, then you're just a fraud, man. You're fugazi. Like, you know, you're a cubic zirconia, man. Like, you know what I mean? For real, son. Like, you're a cubic zirconia. So, yeah.
Word up. Not, yeah, that's, I mean, it's true. Again, I understand both aspects, right? Because we grew up in that. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm hating on people that are making their money, and you know. But again, like you said, you got to put in work. You got to put in your work. You can't just come across and at least know the history, right? Not just with graffiti, just with anything. You're gonna be an MC, know the history. I'm not saying you got to know dates and shit like that, but got to know who Coke La Rock is. You got to know who Blade is. You got to know who Cornbread is. You got to know who Disco King Mario is. Like, you got to know these people. You can't just be like, yeah, I learned it from so and so, and now I'm running with it. And that's with anything. You want to be a baseball player? Got to know who Jackie Robinson is. You want to be a basketball player? You just got to know these things.
If
Foundation.
you want to call yourself,
I think you just froze up too, brother. Oh,
if you want to call yourself a student of the, again, it all depends on how you identify yourself. If you're just some fucking rapper, like we said, everyone and their mom raps, then yeah, it doesn't matter. But if you want to call yourself an MC or whatever, yeah, you gotta know some shit, man. You know what I mean? Or if you want to call yourself a writer, you gotta know some shit. You can't. If you want to call yourself a DJ, you can't just fucking come straight with the CD shit. Fuck out of here. You like none of that shit. All the elements. You can't just come with that fucking new shit now. You can't just come with the Serato shit now and not know how to do any of the other shit. You can't just come with the fucking iPad shit and not know how to fucking rock nothing else. Like, you can't come with no auto-tune and not know how to spit. All of it, yo. And whatever else element we left out. You can't come with no fucking power moves and not know how to up rock a top rock.
We've talked about it. That top rock, the up rock, down rock.
You know what I'm saying? So in each of them, you gotta know the foundation and everything. Yo, graphic design, architecture, whatever it is. It's what it is, man. You know.
You gotta know it. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, everybody, tuning in. Again, the first show of many to come. Again, we're gonna work out some kinks. This show's gonna be on the YouTube channel. I'm hoping. Normally, it'll be up the very next Friday. I might have to work on a little things here. It might, for sure, will be up by Monday. But after party. What up?
Yes. Right. Boom. Progression. Read that. The importance of having a dope tag, throw, and leather. We've talked about that, right? The progression. How you gonna be fucking getting up?
Look at
saying you getting up crazy. How you gonna be saying you getting up crazy big ass productions, right? And you ain't even got no hands. You can't even write your fucking name. Right? Fuck out of here.
I know people great, fucking big old, yeah, that's great, but where's the rest? Again, I beautifully said.
Like, so yeah, yo, like, you gotta have the hands, yo. Like, you can't even fucking sign your name after you did your fucking big ass crazy piece.
And here's the funny thing with this. Someone told me I think I might have heard it in an interview, which kind of clicked to an elder, I guess I can say, from back in the day. I was trying to get the hand style, and shout out to my friend Jesse, who kind of showed me the ropes on the Graff shit. Um, he's like, start off, you know, because we all have to start somewhere, right? It's dope on paper, and that's where I started off. He's like, but eventually you're gonna have to grab a can. The can is different than a marker and a pen. Can is different. The caps are different. Your flares, and it's completely different. So he's like, you have to start somewhere. You don't have to have a fresh style throughout your whole name. Write your regular name, and then that one last letter, trick it out. Or the first letter, trick it out, and the rest, like whatever. Start there. At least, I mean, again, same thing with the lyrics, like you said. Prodigy had told, who'd you say? Big Twins, you said, right?
Twins, yeah.
You don't have to wow the fuck out. Like, so long as you're saying something, make it clean. You don't have to be a twist. Nah, Scarface, Prodigy, they're all great MCs and are not out there trying to be all of, you know, with the lyricism. Same thing with the Graff. Don't get me wrong, a dope hand style is going to be a dope hand style, but you do not need it. You don't have to trick your whole thing out. Learn the hand style, then go up from there, your throwies and your fucking murals and blockbuster and all that bullshit.
Right. Exactly. Simplicity is the key. I mean, and the thing is, in the end, simplicity always wins. I mean, I went to school for graphic design, and you're like, even if you don't, even if that doesn't even appeal to you or whatever, like, yo, what do we always use? Like Helvetica and Arial. Like, that's always like tried and true, simple shit, right? Like Times New Roman for fucking like, okay, always. I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, that's what we're, you know, so simple. In the end, like if there's a doubt, you're always gonna be on okay with the safe dope shit. I mean, like, there's some cats that have like simple ass shit, and it's like it works. You know what I mean?
Works.
So
Yeah.
So yeah. Salute to everybody rocking with us, man. It was, you know what I'm saying, some good feedback in the chat and shit. So, you know what I'm saying, big up. You know.
Yeah. Moving forward, guys. If you, again, I know questions are coming in through the thing. Make sure. Oh, I have. You use a little. Let's see.
Questions feature. Yeah, definitely. We'll pin that comment next time. Use the question
I'll
feature.
pin it. That really isn't a question, but yeah, that Loon TNS video, that shit was too dope to not share. Really fucking dope. Appreciate you. Anytime a rapper or an MC is talking about the elements other than just MCing and himself and all that, is dope. And let alone someone doing a video for it and outlining, you know, the action. Because that song, and I know you know what I'm talking about, Small. That song, and there's also Big Just, which is the same rapper, has a song in his Black Mamba Serums album where he talks about certain graffiti writers, and not that he raps fast, but it's just the song is so fast that you don't catch every single name. So the fact that the video is showing these names puts an emphasis on what he's talking about and the historical facts. So that shit was crazy though.
Yeah, no, I know that song you're talking about. He goes to a whole long line of cats. It's dope.
It's cool. And so the song on the Black Mamba Serum to me is so dope because as opposed to saying like, all right, this is the graffiti writer, he used to bomb this train, that train, that train. And the Black Mamba Serum album, it's just back to back. And he says, we can even take it to the 2-letter throw up invasion. And he starts naming graffiti writers that had 2 letters like J-A, B-G, and he just started going, bah, 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 bah. My wife's like, what the fuck is he? That doesn't make sense. But if you're a graffiti writer, you know these writers, you know he's just back to back. The 2-letter throw up invasion. Fucking incredible. Appreciate it.
No, that's fucking ill shit, man. And that, like you said, for us, like we get hype when we hear that shit, like about the other elements, and like and hear cats talking about that, or like or MCs letting the DJ like fucking flex for a minute, you know what I mean? Or like, because it's about the whole thing, yo. We love the whole shit, and this is why we're rocking and why we do what we do, because it's about all of it, everything.
Yeah.
The whole motherfucking, how you dress, how you walk, how you wear your hat. We already talked about it. So like that's why it's so dope. Like to me, you're selling yourself short if you call yourself a hip hop fan and you're not embracing these other elements, because your favorite MC wouldn't be here without like some cats that are even related to him. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing. You know what I mean? Like it's about the whole shit, and we Yo, if we had the time and somebody was paying us, we can sit here and just fucking we do this shit all day long.
No,
You know what I mean?
I clock out of work and clock in with you for 4 or 5 hours, bro, and we can talk this shit all day.
Yeah, so yeah, no, we gotta rock, we gotta bounce, but
yeah, we gotta cut it here. Next week, again, tune in the after party. We're talking DJ and B-boy next week. So if you guys have any questions, again, we're trying to make it interactive, and I would love to kind of go back and forth, but let's try to keep it on topic. In this case, it was on topic. That's why I brought it in. Not necessarily a question, but we acknowledged it. Let them know what you got going in terms of shows.
So we got our 100th show coming up shortly. So I'm trying to get a special lineup for that. We got our 100th show coming up. So that's really been the push there. You know what I'm saying? All of our bills are on our YouTube channel, and we got a lot of shows. I mean, this is going on. I mean, we got our monthly show with Ep.1 from Hieroglyphics on mental health. And we got a lot of we got our show with Brother Jay, Constant Elevation, Brother Jay from X Clan. So, and we keep pushing, man. And we got some things in the pipeline, but it's really about getting the YouTube popping. You know what I'm saying? Because we got your favorite rapper's been on. You know what I'm saying? Chino XL, Fredro's been on. Fucking, you know, Percy P. I mean, everybody in Hyro except for Dell and Pep Love. I mean, like everybody. So
good luck getting Dell. So I tried that shit. That didn't work.
So we rocking with you, man. We're trying to grow this shit. We're trying to
let's go. I appreciate you.
You know, we're trying to do our thing with this, man. We're really trying to spread this shit and just share our love for this and see where it goes. And so I'm excited about you know, as far as our show goes, I'm excited about, you know, having this organized way. It was good for me to, like, it keeps me focused. It's dope. And you know, so like, and you know, next week we talk about two elements. We're not talking about rap next week. We're not talking about the MC.
Yeah, so you can come on. And we did that strategically, right? I want to make sure, you know, and that's why I said when we talked about graffiti, I know we probably lose some of y'all because, again, graffiti, not necessarily the most common, not necessarily the one that's, you know, I've had hip hop heads be like, I'll post something about graffiti and they're like, oh, you know, that's vandalism. It's like, what? Yeah, I've had people tell me that. And it's like, it's part of the culture. Like, you can't just, you know, dismiss it. I get it if you don't like it, but like us, like, we can't dismiss BAM. We can't dismiss KRS. We don't have to talk about it, but it's part of it. So either way, next week, graffiti, b-boying. Stay tuned. 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, the DJ and the b-boy. Yep.
Is that what I said? Is that what I said?
You said graffiti.
Yeah, that's fucking late.
I'm the one who's high. The DJ and the b-boy.
DJ and b-boy
next week.
Which
salute to everybody. We're gonna get
go hand in hand.
And yeah, it's gonna be dope. So looking forward to that. So salute, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Peace. Stay up.
Peace.